Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man side. Today's video is about Darwin Núñez, our Uruguayan Superman. This video is going to cover everything in terms of Darwin Núñez the player, the attributes on the field, off the field, his contributions this season, his potential, his missing the barn door with a banjo, absolute hilarity, the personality, the man, the traits, and the reason why Darwin Núñez is saving our season. In fact, he's already sown the seeds for our success. Let's get into it. There's a story that came out today that our very own Luis Suarez said that Darwin Núñez explicitly asked him for the number 9 shirt in the Uruguay national team. Now Suarez could have taken it one of two ways, but what he did actually take it as was, great, I'm going to hand over my legacy. This is going to be Uruguay's number 1 striker, taking over from me, from Cavani. I'm going to inspire him. I'm going to mentor him. I'm going to show him the way. He is Uruguay's future. He's one of the best strikers in the world today. Luis Suarez actually spoke in English. I was surprised at how good his English actually was. I don't remember him speaking much of the English lingo back in Liverpool and Anfield back in the day. So, yeah, he's already had great support and fanfare in his home country, doing it on the international stage. But also, he was identified by Jurgen Klopp explicitly, Pep Lijnders, the transfer committee, FSG, all of them were willing to invest 100 million euros, 85 million pounds, obviously paid in installments as well, to Benfica, to take him away from there to lead Liverpool's line for at least 10 years, right? And it's not like a Benitez inheriting Cisse. Obviously, Houllier wanted a Cisse's pace, and it's not like a Klopp inheriting Benteke, for example, you know, big target man striker. But this is a youngster, an absolute prodigy with world-class potential, highest grade pedigree, the attributes, a past record of knocking them in as well, and world-renowned striker of incredible talent for the next generation and the golden generation, the next chapter. And my goodness, what an inspired choice that could prove to be, because Darwin Núñez, I would not replace him for absolutely anybody. Because yeah, admittedly, it is fun doing this and this, you know, for a few weeks and on occasion. It gets tiresome, right? But wouldn't you rather have this and that and something like this every week? Oh, Jones, absolutely clobbered. Mad lad is our Darwin. And that's what I mean. You want your striker not just to provide the goals, but provide the entertainment. Football is around entertainment, and there's no one more entertaining on and off the pitch than Darwin Núñez. Even in the car, in the backroom interviews, he is hilarious. He is full of machismo, but he's got that baby innocence and that cheeky, flary streak as well. You just never know what's going to happen. He's always on the hot sauce, that mate, right? But you know what? Even from the start of his career, he has overcome adversity to try to get his way to the top. Because imagine how fast he would have been if he didn't get those ACL injuries in his left knee early in his career. He must have been 18 or so, just coming onto form, ACL injury. And then he had a recurrence of the ACL injury, then bad knee injury again. And imagine, right? He's so fast already, blisteringly fast, great physical presence, supreme athlete with athletic prowess. But he was hindered by those initial knee injuries. So imagine how good and how fast he would be if he never had those injuries in the first place. Scary thought. And if Liverpool are to win the Premier League, to beat Man City this season, a juiced up Man City, then it's Darwin Núñez who will lead the charge and bring us to the promised place. There are two moments in this season, one just having played out, to sum up why Darwin Núñez is absolutely critical to not just the results this season, but the mentality of the squad, and understanding that the players, you back them to the hilt, the mentality monster mantra. What happened against Newcastle when we were under the cosh? Van Dijk, our captain fantastic, our best centre-back, sent off, under the cosh, under pressure. Newcastle coming on in front of the home crowd getting frustrated. Darwin Núñez comes on with his glorious hair and smacks two right across the face of the goal, bang, into the side net. Two identical shots, clinical composure, striker of the deadliest caliber. Does the best impression of the tribal chief Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. And then does a proper derpy face. Szoboszlai is proper loving it, innit? We all love it, my goodness, love Darwin. We come away with St. James's Park, 2-1 comeback. The heavens open up like shining down on a glorious Uruguayan number 9, our striker prodigy, our number 1 striker. He is the one who scored the goals to lead us to the promised place. Then again, look at this weekend. We're under pressure in Nottingham Forest. Couldn't see the wood from the trees. McAllister doing his best. Wataru Endo, Darwin Núñez, the reinforcements, Dominik Szoboszlai, come on, and they're like, alright, we got this, lads, come on. Endo knows what he needs to do from the bench. He came on, he harassed, hassled, got the ball, a loose ball out to McAllister, who showed a composure, the jink and the turn, head up, saw the wood from the trees. Darwin Núñez, seeing the opportunity to give everyone that proper wood, buried it in. 98th minute, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal fans, Man City fans, Man United fans, all of the opposing fans would have been like, Liverpool drop points here, Liverpool under the cosh, Finally, they're losing momentum. They can't keep going week on week out with a threadbare squad, depleted squad, injuries. They're riding their luck. Liverpool, for example, VAR-pool, all this kind of stuff, strategy chanting. They can track whatever they want at us, but when Darwin Núñez nods it in the 98th minute, it's a dagger into their heart because they cannot take the fact that our beautiful striker scored the goal. Now, many things have been said about Darwin Núñez. Can't hit a bundle with a banjo, an absolute donkey, not clinical, super wasteful. I don't want him at the club. Need to sell Darwin Núñez. What a joke of a striker. Not in the same league as Haaland. They paid that much for a flop. All these kind of things. But he's also clinical. He's fantastic. He's super aggressive. He learns quickly. He's leading the press. He's got double scoring metrics in all facilities. He can really lead the line. He absolutely chases lost causes. He tracks back as well. His efficiency, he can shoot with left foot, he can shoot with right foot, he can go down the line, he can cross it in with his left foot. He's got a bit of skills in him as well. He can bend it far corner. He chooses the hardest shot, the cheeky chip, the dink, to absolutely humiliate the opposition when he could have just rounded the keeper or slotted it either side. From an impossible angle, he can glance it in with his head. From 5 yards out, he can boot it to planet Mars. You never know what you're going to get. So what is Darwin Núñez? Is he absolutely amazing? Is he an absolute flop? Well, I'm going to paraphrase Lord of the Rings here from Tom Bombadil. He is as you see him. He just is. Darwin Núñez, agent of chaos. You never know what he's going to do. This is the player that you need leading your charge. Do you know why? Because when faced with the unprecedented financial might, potentially financial doping, of Manchester City, who can load up the dice, they might even buy that rigged dice, you know, they throw the dice and it always lands on a 5 and 6. How can you compete? You can't afford to buy the same dice. So what do? You buy the Chaos Theory random rebel dice of disaster. What does that even mean? It could be a 1 or 2, 5 or 6, chicken nuggets or Darwin's. It's going to be a chicken wing, isn't it? It'll probably land on that chicken wing. There, on any given day, you don't know what's going to happen, but when you put them on a team sheet, it's like rolling them dice. And I know I mentioned 7 possibilities, but that's what you get with Darwin Núñez, right? It's like the 7 deadly sins. You don't piss off Darwin Núñez. You don't mock Darwin Núñez's hair. You don't mock his finishing ability. You don't mock his prowess as a striker. You don't mock him as a player, and you definitely don't try to discriminate or disgrace Liverpool, because Darwin Núñez, come get you. Come get your ass. He's the joker in the pack. He's a proper menace. How can you defend against this man, right? When he doesn't know what he's going to do, how on earth do the defenders know what he's going to do? How does the coach know what he's going to do when Darwin Núñez hasn't even decided what to do before the ball gets to his feet and after the ball gets to his feet? It might ricochet off him, but he's faster than you and he'll get to the ball. It might bounce off him, but once again, he reacts quicker than you. In the game of 21, he's got 22. He might run to the near post, but actually hits it on the back post. How does that even happen? It's Darwin Núñez. So all backroom, Colombian, Haifa, Mate aside, you know, the good stuff. Let's see what Darwin Núñez can do on the tactical board, okay? So Núñez, obviously starting striker up front, but he can operate from the central position and left position, but we're going to look at both possibilities. So over here, he is a pressing machine. He leads the press and the players come and follow him, obviously closing passing channels. You want to distribute them to a logical side, obviously to play the ball out wide, for example, and then players come close and compress as well. So what you're trying to do is pen the opposition in, and you always have a triangle, one coming from the side or the flank, one cutting off the passing lanes, their diagonal balls, one cutting down the line as well, one in front, one in back, hoping that they go back towards the keeper, play it around, pen them in their own half, which means that you can press because you're raising the offside line further and higher into the opposition half, okay, which means that they can't bypass the press and get in behind unless an intelligent run and a super ball out wide. They must have planned the trigger points to escape the press. Darwin Núñez has heavily impressed with his pressing this season, which is why he's been played by Klopp more often than not. Gakpo did a lot of the pressing and good qualities last season, but as you can see, Núñez is trusted this season, and obviously he's paid back in good faith with a huge amount of goals and assists, and he's won the ball back a lot as well. What he can do from this position as well, he's always a threat in and behind. His pace allows you to run in and beyond the lines as well, and the slide ball in between the centre back and the full back is very dangerous for him because he can run from in to out, receive the ball, which allows other players to cut inside. You have your overload on the right hand side, and he's got a pretty good left-footed delivery across ball, across goal as well, which is always a threat. We've actually seen very devastating play in and amongst these areas because Darwin Núñez can break the lines, and you can't really stop him from going that side because that is actually his weaker foot, the left foot, but he has a good delivery from there as well. Also in this position, he's quite deadly as well, because if this is the dummy runner going here, he can cut across here, and he's got a very talented shot across goal. He's actually scored against Liverpool in this regard. Was it Champions League? I want to say Champions League for Benfica. The ball bobbled to him, he slotted it against Alisson Becker, which is no mean feat because Alisson is an absolute beast. So Nunez, from starting position, can actually roam out wide and to the sides as well. He is an absolute menace because on the counter attack, right, when you're under the cosh, maybe you pivot two in front of your back line and you have him on the break and someone else on the break, either Luis Diaz or Salah on the other side. When you hit the ball from back to front, if you hit it into the space, so let's say hit it into the space over here, Darwin Nunez is so good at taking the ball out wide and gives you so much space. And what you want to do when the ball's on this space here, you're obviously looking for the shortest route to goal. Now this person will dive into the back post, this person will dive into the box, makes himself a menace as well. And you got outside shooters as well. And Darwin Nunez is pretty good at picking out. He actually gets his head up. He's not hit and hope like a Cisse. He actually gets his head up and tries to pick someone out. So on the counter attack, his attacking threat, his speed of transition is very good. Actually, a few times you even see him running the ball, and players, there's on the overlap here, and just on the right moment he can slide the ball across to a Trent or someone who can shoot across goal and hopefully result in a goal. Obviously against Arsenal, goal expectancy there, but unfortunately I think it bobbled and Trent hit the bar. Hopefully it doesn't prove costly, but Nunez is a super effective weapon on the counter attack, and opposition cannot play high up just because of his threat in and behind as well. But what else does he offer? When you build up the play, down the right-hand channel, we're looking at Trent to Szoboszlai to Salah, for example. Salah cutting inside, Szoboszlai going around the outside, or Trent going around the outside. One of the two, because Trent can overlap as well into half space. Szoboszlai can cover on the right-hand side. In the back post and in amongst the areas, he's actually a menace in the air and a threat because you can actually pick him up, and his heading ability is pretty good. He scored quite a few with his head. He scored an absolute peach against Man United. He just scored against Forest, for example. And predominantly, whether it's from the wide half space or whether it's in the more narrow short half space, a slotted ball into Nunez actually gets a lot of profit. Another element of his play that's very good is that Uruguayan kind of South American dirt balling style, because you can actually hit it to feet, him penning the opposition back to goal, and he's actually quite proficient at holding the ball up and wiggling that yard of space to slide a ball in, whether it's to Lucho Diaz or whether it's to Mo Salah or anyone else. He's built a little bit of a bromance in terms of assisting Mo Salah, and Mo Salah back to Nunez, for example. So he's a menace in terms of movement, in terms of physical prowess. He can pin the opposition back, but what's more, when he's on the left hand side and you've got a weapon like Trent who can actually deliver a long high ball, it's very difficult for the opposition right back, because when you're against Nunez one-on-one, let's bring a blue shirt onto here, you can't stand off him, because with yards and space to run into, when he runs at you, he'll just do you for pace. He doesn't even need to get near you. He'll do you for pace on a diagonal, on a straight line run. Alternatively, you get too tight for him, the ball can come in and around into the back behind you, and he'll do you for pace and beat you again. Okay, and Nunez, as seen, he can go down the outside. He's actually very good on this singular line here, in and around the box, or cutting inside a la Lucho Diaz and slotting away. So what do you do? As this player, you really need support, but who can support you? It's got to be the defensive midfielder who shifts over there, which means one of the number 8s or number 10s is free, predominantly in half space position. So Nunez is very effective at pinning the whole team back, because this player can't commit. And he can't sit too deep, so he has to float in and around this area, which brings a whole offside line to this kind of line here, which means the players, the centre forward, whether it's Gakpo, whether it's Diogo Jota or Mo Salah roaming this position, you can really pen the opposition in, and it's very oppressive and hard for them to break out, because they can't go with a ball in behind, because Van Dijk, Robertson, Konate will clean up, or Conor Bradley, for example. So Nunez is an absolute weapon for forcing the opposition to do things that they're not particularly comfortable with. Also, he's got the physical prowess, he's good in the air, he can hit a left-footed ball across the goal as well. His right foot is a weapon as well, and his finishing is a little bit sporadic and unpredictable, but what you've seen is he's actually laser pinpoint focused when the ball goes over the top. So you're looking at a McAllister, an Endo, a Szoboszlai, a Trent, anyone who hits the ball over the top, his ability to finish first time is actually quite good. He does hit the target more often than not, but he is guilty when he has time, or he overthinks, or just a bit of bad luck really, of ballooning it to Mars, as you've seen in the previous picture. But you get what you get with Nunez. He always is a threat. He always creates goal scoring opportunities, whether for himself or whether for his teammates, and just his existence on the pitch is enough to cause havoc and chaos. The ball can bobble everywhere, but once again, his reactions, his techers, his ball skills, he's got a step over or two, he's got a trick, he can earn a yard of space. But the thing that I've been most impressive with is his off the ball movement, that striker's instinct to get that yard of space in the right timing to poach a goal. You've seen his bent run against Forest to get into that position pocket before the opposition and nod it in with his head. He's becoming more of an intelligent player, which is a scary thought, because Nunez is instinctive, he's a wild animal. But the fact that Nunez is really coming to prominence at the right start of the season the right part of the season I might say, is really, really promising. And I think if we're going to win anything this season, it's because Nunes turns it on in the biggest games. And what bigger game than Man City this weekend? Hopefully Nunes can get himself at least a brace, show what he's all about. Haaland, Nunes, absolute both monsters and beasts. But Nunes actually has more about him. Haaland's more clinical finisher, he's more experienced, he's got a bit more about him. Obviously leading the title charge for Manchester City, but there's no better man than Darwin Nunes to put my faith behind, because on any given day he can roll that chicken wing. Make sure you smash the like if you enjoyed this video. I'm all about substance in abundance, entertainment. That's what it's all about, right? You want to learn something about the football game. You want to enjoy watching the videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of crazy, wacky, coony content. Whatever guff that comes to my noggin might come onto the pitch, might come onto the videos. Who knows? But it's all good fun, right? Miyazaki Man, Ichiban, thank you so much for supporting. Crucial week. Let's advance in the Europa League. First leg tie. Get it done and dusted. Maybe not, but at least hang in there until the second leg. And then Man City. There's a lot to be positive around in that Man City fixture. If you're a bit hesitant, a bit fearful, I'm going to absolutely wipe away all doubts and all fears and remind you again, we are Liverpool FC and this means more. Okay, thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great day, and until next time, Janet, peace.